Hey guys! Tonight we will embark on a truly ancient journey, drifting back to a time when empires were built not just on armies, but on well-maintained dirt paths. Imagine the whisper of wind through palm trees, the rhythmic crunch of sandals on compacted earth, and the distant jingle of bells from a bullock cart laden with spices. You're standing at the edge of a vast, bustling thoroughfare, stretching for thousands of miles across a subcontinent, connecting distant cities and isolated villages. This isn't some modern highway, oh no, this is the Mauryan Empire's incredible network of roads, and frankly, you probably wouldn't survive a single journey without a strong stomach and a really good sun hat. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And if you're up for it, tell me in the comments where you're listening from and what time it is for you right now. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's relax and begin tonight's journey together. You find yourself on the very edge of this incredible infrastructure, a vital artery of the Mauryan Empire, which at its peak was one of the largest empires in ancient India. You're on what we now call the Grand Trunk Road, though back then it had many names, or perhaps no singular name at all, simply the Times Road. It stretched for over 2,000 miles, connecting Taxila in the northwest to Pataliputra, the Mauryan capital, and further east to Tamralipta, a major port. You can almost feel the dust of centuries under your feet, envisioning merchants, soldiers, and royal emissaries making their slow, deliberate progress. It's hard to fathom the scale, isn't it? Today, we hop in a car. Back then, this was a multi-month expedition. Historians still debate whether the Mauryan Grand Trunk Road was a single, consistently managed entity or a series of interconnected, locally maintained routes. Either way, it was a colossal undertaking. The sheer volume of traffic, from chariots to elephants, must have been quite the spectacle, a sort of ancient open-air parade you definitely want to avoid getting stuck behind. Imagine waiting for an elephant jam to clear up. Talk about slow travel! This vast network wasn't just haphazardly laid out, it was the product of sophisticated strategic thinking. You see the influence of minds like Chanakya, or Kautilya as he's also known, the legendary advisor to Chandragupta Maurya who laid the empire's foundations. His treatise, the Times Arthashastra Asterisk, is a veritable ancient manual on statecraft, including sections on road planning and maintenance. It details how roads should be constructed to facilitate military movement, trade, and administrative control. It's truly fascinating, like reading a really dense ancient civil engineering textbook. For instance, a common historical fact is that Chanakya emphasized the economic benefits of well-maintained roads, linking them directly to the prosperity of the kingdom. A quirky detail from his writing suggests that roads were sometimes deliberately built away from certain villages to avoid disturbance or to protect specific resources. Talk about selective urban planning. You can almost hear him saying, yes, this path could times go through that village, but think of the administrative headaches. Let's make a slight detour. Historians still debate the exact authorship and dating of the Times Arthashastra Asterisk and whether it represents an idealized view or a true reflection of Mauryan governance. You wonder if anyone actually read all of it back then, or if it was mostly a do as I say, not as I've written 100 chapters about kind of deal. As you walk further, you begin to notice the practicalities of how these ancient arteries were built. Unlike Roman roads, which often featured elaborate stone paving, many Mauryan roads, especially in the interior, were typically compacted earth, sometimes reinforced with gravel, sand, or even burnt brick in more important sections. You might spot remnants of these ancient techniques, where the ground feels unnaturally firm and even. A common historical fact is that the Mauryans frequently used locally available materials, making their construction methods adaptable across diverse geographical regions. Imagine a work crew, perhaps using basic tools, hauling stones, and meticulously leveling the ground day in and day out, without the benefit of a steamroller or even a proper wheelbarrow. A little-known fact is that some sections of these roads, particularly those passing through dense forests or mountains, were said to have included rudimentary bridges or culverts, often constructed from timber or stone, to manage water flow. You might chuckle imagining a Mauryan foreman scratching his head trying to figure out how to divert a seasonal stream without disrupting the royal convoy. Just put some big rocks there, we'll call it a bridge, he might have grumbled. Historians still debate the extent of centralized engineering control versus local improvisation in the construction of these vast routes. You wouldn't want to be the one to tell the emperor his new road looks a bit lumpy. Now, imagine the sheer scale of keeping these pathways pristine year after year through monsoons and dry seasons. It wasn't just about building them, it was about the constant, diligent work of maintenance. You picture specialized road maintenance crews, probably comprising laborers and supervisors, who would regularly inspect, repair, and clear the routes. A common historical fact is that the Mauryan administration allocated resources and personnel specifically for road upkeep, recognizing its critical importance to trade and military logistics. They understood that a road, left untended, quickly becomes a forgotten track. A quirky detail emerges from ancient accounts, suggesting that during certain seasons, road sections might have been temporarily closed or rerouted to allow for large-scale repairs or to protect new growth along the verges. It's almost like an ancient traffic management system, except instead of cones, they probably used a very stern-looking guard. You might wonder if they had a budget for potholes, or if it was just fill it with whatever you can find kind of repair. Historians still debate the exact administrative structure and funding mechanisms for these widespread maintenance efforts. You can practically hear someone complaining, "This road hasn't been swept in times weeks, asterisk. My chariot wheels are positively caked in mud." Traveling these vast distances would have been exhausting, even for the most seasoned traveler. But the Mauryans, understanding the needs of their people and the requirements of commerce, provided essential comforts. As you journey on, you might notice signs of ancient rest stops. A common historical fact is that along major routes, structures known as dharamshalas or rest houses were established, offering travelers a place to stay overnight. These weren't five-star resorts, mind you, but simple communal shelters. Alongside these, you'd find wells or reservoirs, providing much-needed water and sometimes even shady groves of trees deliberately planted to offer respite from the scorching Sunday. A lesser-known fact is that some of these rest areas might have also included small markets or vendors, offering food, repairs, and even entertainment. Imagine pulling into a Mauryan rest stop after a long day of walking, hoping they had your favorite fermented beverage, only to find they're out. Again? You sigh dramatically. Historians still debate the exact frequency and standardization of these amenities along the entire network. Perhaps there was a Yelp equivalent back then, but with clay tablets and disgruntled scorpions. With so much movement of goods and people, security was paramount. You can imagine the vulnerability of merchants carrying precious cargo, or messengers bearing vital imperial decrees. The Mauryan Empire recognized this, and its roads weren't just for travel, they were also patrolled. A common historical fact is that the Mauryan state employed various forms of law enforcement and military personnel to secure its territories, including its major roads. These patrols would deter bandits, ensure peace, and perhaps even assist stranded travelers. Think of them as ancient highway patrol, but probably with more swords and less paperwork. A quirky bit of information suggests that local village heads or regional administrators were often held responsible for the safety of specific road segments passing through their jurisdiction, creating a strong incentive for vigilance. Imagine a local chief getting a stern message from the capital, "Another caravan robbed on your watch, friend?" Perhaps you need a times longer times stick. Historians still debate the effectiveness and reach of these security measures, especially in more remote or sparsely populated areas. You wouldn't want to explain to the emperor why his tax revenue never made it past the last village. These roads weren't just for moving physical goods or people. They were the nervous system of the empire, facilitating rapid communication. You envision swift messengers, perhaps on horseback or even on foot, relays of information speeding across the subcontinent. A common historical fact is that the Mauryan administration utilized an efficient system of communication, with royal messengers delivering crucial edicts and intelligence along the road network. This allowed the emperor and Pataliputra to maintain control over a vast and diverse empire. Imagine the power of a message, carefully rolled and sealed, covering hundreds of miles and days, keeping rebellions in check or coordinating military movements. A little-known detail is that some accounts suggest the use of signal fires or semaphore stations along particularly strategic stretches, allowing for even quicker transmission of urgent news, especially regarding military threats. It's like an ancient version of high-speed internet, only with smoke and flags instead of fiber optics. You might wonder if they had a read receipt for imperial decrees. Historians still debate the exact speed and reliability of this communication system, especially over the longest distances and during periods of political instability. You're just glad your email sends instantly these days. And so you reach the end of your journey on these ancient dusty paths. The Mauryan road network, while perhaps not as famous as its Roman counterpart, was an extraordinary achievement, a testament to sophisticated governance and logistical prowess. Its impact on trade, administration, and cultural exchange was immense, knitting together disparate regions into a cohesive empire. A common historical fact is that this network significantly boosted internal trade and facilitated the spread of ideas and cultural practices across the subcontinent. Even after the decline of the Mauryan Empire, many of these routes continued to be used and adapted by subsequent kingdoms, a testament to their fundamental utility. A quirky legacy is that some stretches of what was once Mauryan Road are believed to underlie parts of modern-day highways in India, a ghostly presence beneath the asphalt. Imagine driving along a modern road, completely unaware that you're literally on top of thousands of years of history. Historians still debate the precise extent to which the Mauryan road system directly influenced later road-building traditions in India, but its foundational role is undeniable. It's a reminder that sometimes the most profound changes start with a path well trodden. Now, as the long journey through ancient Mauryan pathways draws to a close, allow your mind to gently release the dust and echoes of history. You've traversed incredible distances, witnessed the ingenuity of ancient engineers, and felt the quiet hum of a vast empire sustained by its humble roads. Let the imagery of those diligent maintenance crews, the watchful security patrols, and the weary yet hopeful travelers slowly soften, dissolving into the stillness of the night. Feel the lingering warmth of the ancient sun, now a gentle, soothing memory. There's a certain peace in knowing that even in the distant past, people strove to connect, to build, and to move forward, much like we do today. Allow your breathing to deepen, your muscles to soften, and your thoughts to quiet, as the grand story of these ancient routes slowly fades into the quiet embrace of sleep. Rest easy now, knowing that even the busiest roads eventually lead to a place of profound calm. Sweet dreams.